I'm Jane Grohl, CEO of the DevOps Institute here at DevOps World, Jenkins World in lovely San Francisco. As you might be able to hear in the background, the buzz is really palpable, and I'm really delighted to be joined by Mark and Mike of KPMG, and we're going to talk a little bit about business transformation. Welcome.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you. We're really glad to be here.
So, before we went on camera, we talked a little bit about KPMG's service compared to tool relationship to an event like this, and certainly looking at transformation, which is the theme of the conference. But business transformation, I think, is trending as high as tool transformation. So what are you seeing in the conference? What are you hoping to get out of the conference? Some of the conversations you've had so far.
Well, I think the conference is great. There are a lot of really awesome tool vendors here, and DevOps is a complex ecosystem, which is certainly has its challenges in regards to figuring out what the best tool chain means. I think we're starting to see organizations that go beyond are starting to realize the implications of having a tool chain, and what does that mean to their org as a whole? What does that mean to their process, the different groups, how they interact, how do they align? Product versus project and these kind of components. And so it's been great to start to have these conversations. So what does transformation really mean? What does transformation mean beyond tooling? And what are the implications of that tooling being used successfully?
Yeah. We kind of see this as a component of a broader ecosystem that we call modern delivery, right? Modern delivery is tying together DevOps, it's tying together Agile, it's tying together what I've been calling opsifying of everything, AI ops, design ops, to organizational shifts towards being product and customer centric, to lean financing, right? To really drive that whole business transformation where DevOps is kind of the engine that really powers the broader transformation. And just seeing kind of the energy here of where there's this nexus point of where people are realizing this is bigger than Jenkins. So their decision to go DevOps world as opposed to Jenkins world in the past, I think is really a statement about that.
It shows a paradigm shift, doesn't it? And I know that KPMG gets the opportunity and the access to some really key leaders from the enterprise space. So from the executive suite, what are they looking for? What trends are you seeing from kind of the business transformation perspective? And what are they hoping to achieve from this?
Yeah, and the shift that I've noticed recently is this understanding that this is a systemic change, that this is a tectonic change. We had people talk about design thinking previously. Now they understand design thinking. We have things like SRE, where they're defining kind of metrics around error budgets and SLOs and SLIs. And then we have the business going, well, here's my OKR. How does this come together? So I think there's this real understanding and this tipping point that's happening that says, oh, this is how I have to change, and I need to get executive alignment to actually push that forward, to have real actionable change.
Yeah, I think one thing we've really seen in that vein is, just fundamentally, the DevOps has helped organizations realize the failings of their agile transformation. That they have all these middle level executives with agile scorecards, and they're all green. And if you go to lunch with anybody in their group, they're going to complain about problems with their agile transformation. But when you try to automate, when you try to put automation in place and you try to put a tool chain in place, it really just shows all these glaring issues. And so to a degree, you're kind of helping them take a step back and realize where they maybe had trouble with Agile or did Agile wrong. And this is helping bring so much of that to light. So you're kind of dealing with a little bit of Agile debt, so to speak, and then also helping them move forward into this new space. And then just seeing how this breaks down some of the traditional silos, particularly on the IT side. So much of our IT orgs were built up around the actual structure of the things that they were owning and implementing. And now that structure with cloud and with automation and with these other things is getting broken down, there are egos at play. There are people there that are really thinking about how this impacts them and their group. And so it requires really strong, high-level executive leadership to have this change occur across the horizontal in the business.
Yeah, I think that from my experience, that what organizations are learning is that it's more important to be agile than to do agile, right?
Yep.
So they thought that doing agile was going to be the magic bullet, the
Right.
secret sauce, and they found out it could only take them so far. Same with other things. I mean, same with IT service management, same thing with lean.
Right.
That flow really is the important part of that.
And I think to that end, I think that the dev and operation side is realizing that tools does not solve that same problem. Just like going agile, implementing CI/CD didn't solve that problem, because at the end of the day, I released a thing faster. It wasn't the thing that the business wanted. Business is still unhappy because I wanted the thing I wanted, right? So if we're shifting left through all this automation, they're realizing, how do we fix this problem, right? And that's then kind of bringing together kind of the teams to really break down the silos to achieve that.
Yeah, you can see kind of different levels of maturity in regards to where people are and the problems that they deal with, right? So you can see groups that have maybe most of the tool chain implemented, and then they start focusing on actual design thinking and how to engage the business, and how is it the business really engaged in an agile way? How are they doing budgets in an agile way? Whereas when you go to a slightly less mature step, they're starting to figure out how to try to align traditional IT operations team towards product, and how to break down security and automate some of the security functions and change the culture around that. And so it's all these different, as you go down this path, you see different challenges, and it's hard to even necessarily see what's ahead because you haven't lived or experienced that yet.
And I think the other shift I'm seeing there is, as you're talking about breaking down silos, all of a sudden the chief financial officer wants to be involved in this, because they're like, well, how do I pay for this? Is this budgeted in the same way? Am I still doing my annual budgets? I've heard this thing about lean finance. Oh, by the way, I need to do vendor management. Can DevOps help me insource some of this work that I was using for vendors and pick the right vendors and have extended workforce? That's a maturity level that we were not seeing, just a year ago.
And it's exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredibly exciting starting to see the C-suite starting to get engaged, but it's ground up, from the ground up and the top down, and they're kind of meeting in the middle, which is fantastic, right?
Yeah, no, it really is.
So anything you guys want to announce while you're here? Anything in particular that KPMG is doing or is looking forward to, say, for next quarter or even for next year?
Yeah, so we're actually doubling down on this industry and putting a focus on what we're calling modern delivery, which is kind of an end-to-end service offering that ties together our risk consulting and ties together cyber, our digital enablement to be able to design and build out those prototypes and cloud-native apps, our CIO advisory work where we're advising our CIOs on the future of IT, and our people and change initiatives to how do you implement that big cultural change into one service offering we're calling modern delivery. And so we're going to be talking about a lot in the market over the next year.
Yeah, really trying to bring together governance, change management, the actual technical implementation and operating model, and how all of these things can work together to help you realize the benefit of this.
And that's DevOps, right? I mean, that is DevOps. So that's really exciting. Okay, well, anyhow, I wanted to thank you. I hope that people that are at DevOps World, Jenkins World, hopefully by next year we're using one, right? We'll come by your booth to learn more about it. I've really enjoyed spending some time with you,
Awesome.
So thank you.
Thank you so much. Time.
So this is Jane Grohl, CEO of the DevOps Institute. I've been with Mark and Mike and KPMG, and wishing everyone a great conference.